Should be able to hear me. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Nada. I appreciate you giving me the heads up that the sound is now working. You know, one of the ironic things here is sometimes us tech geeks experience our own technical difficulties. A funny little irony there. So I'm glad that we're working now, and super excited that you are able to join us here on this webinar that No Bounds Digital is co-hosting with Vidyard, Unlocking the Value of Video. I'm joined here by Ali Hamoud, who has an outstanding little whiteboard message for you. This is an occupational hazard here of anyone that uses video, and I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk about that and a whole lot more. Ali Hamoud, I'm gonna turn it over to you here to start the presentation. But I should say, in addition to it being a presentation, this is super conversational. So there's going to be opportunities for you to participate in what we're doing. We're going to ask you some questions. Ali and I are going to have a conversation as well. And so we're really interested in hearing your feedback, answering your questions. There's going to be time for Q&A as well. And if you stick around to the very end, you'll get to hear about a challenge, a contest that we have for you, along with some fabulous prizes that go to the winner. Ali? And it turns out the audio issues are affecting us both.
Oh, man.
There we are.
Can you hear me?
2 for 2. We can hear you now. Perfect.
Awesome. It's a pleasure to meet everybody here. Technical difficulties are the best, aren't they? Yeah, I guess to start off, absolutely. We will be jumping into this conversation, talking a little bit about Vidyard, a little bit about video, and kind of just having a conversation about what this hype is about and how it could affect some of your business outcomes. I love the challenge at the end, so definitely stick around. And also, I wanted to mention the chat bar is a perfect place for you to definitely ask questions. I'm willing to answer questions, throughout the presentation, even at the end, especially if I have stuff within my presentation that pertains to those questions in particular. Just to start to get us going, put in the chat if you've ever downloaded our free tool, or if you're currently using some sort of a video tool for, let's say, video creation. If you have, put it in the chat. Would love to hear if anyone here has been using it. Ben, we know you are an absolute master at using it. Awesome. Good to see you here, Will. Doug, that's awesome. Love to hear that. Good stuff. Well, the cool thing about Vidyard and the cool thing about video creation is we do have a free tool. So we'll dive into that a little bit closer to the end, and it's a great place to start, especially if you want to get your feet wet, get a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera. Nonetheless, get some great responses and replies from the people you sent videos to. Remember when I first started out at Vidyard, the first thing I did is I sent videos out to my family. Some went out to my dad, and he's just like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This is my job. I get to do this all day, baby." So anyways, let's get right down to it. So I guess unlocking the value of video is what we're trying to help you understand today, and really understanding the power of this communication method and what it could really mean for your business as a comprehensive tool. So we'll jump right in. Just a short introduction of myself. You're probably wondering, who is this guy working at Vidyard? My name is Ali Hamoud. I'm a partner manager here at Vidyard, where I meet with people like Ben all the time to talk about his customers and what he's seeing in the market in regards to people that want to be enabled with video but haven't taken that first step. So I help him have those conversations and make sure people get the education they need. Before that, in a past life, I was in sales my entire life, actually. And with Vidyard, when I first started, I was in business development. So I was really down in the trenches, doing sales work as a business development representative, trying to gain the attention of people in the marketplace. There's tons of ways of reaching out to people, but primarily what I did was I sent out videos, I sent out emails, I did cold calling and social selling, which were, I'd say, and just a quick tip for you that haven't really taken a deeper dive into social selling. I'd say about 75% of my entire pipeline was based off of social selling. LinkedIn is a tool that is super underutilized, and we'll talk a little bit about that later as well. When I say myself as a video aficionado, I believe in this stuff. This is a means of communicating. When it comes down to engaging with videos, sometimes I'll reflect on my day and I'll realize, I spent hours on Netflix, or I spent hours on Facebook watching videos. And I'm like, I think that is the top priority in terms of the type of communication that I actually absorb and I like to learn from. So I think it's the same for everyone else out there. So I think the first thing you have to always ask yourself, especially when you're bringing something new into your tech stack, is questioning what you're currently doing. So you guys have probably heard this quote before: insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. It was Albert Einstein that said that. And I challenge you to even think about your status quo. How are you currently going to market? How do you currently communicate with people? And how do you set yourself apart? That's usually where it starts off. Reflection usually turns into action, which inherently ends up turning into real business outcomes. So let's talk why video. That's super important. We love video because 90% report that video is becoming a more important content type for driving business results. So, whether that's creating these very polished videos that are on your website that people engage with as they're going through the customer journey, or it's these scrappy videos that you create and send out that people start engaging with. So on average, 72% of business-to-business buyers and researchers watch video throughout their path to purchase. I always like to use this example. I recently purchased a bicycle, and we're in COVID times right now. I actually called them and they said, you can purchase a bike, but you can't come in, you can't sit on the bike, and once you do purchase the bike, it's final sale because you touched it. So what did I do? The first thing I did is I went onto YouTube, I went onto Google, and I found all the reviews and videos about that bike for me to make my purchasing decision. So it became very clear to me that I would have done that with or without COVID, and nonetheless, it really helped me end up spending that type of money. And I don't really indulge too much in spending on myself, but this is a pretty expensive bike, and for a purchase that big, it was great to see that I was able to make a good purchase because of using video.
Ali, one of the things that I think is almost an under talked about thing with video is, especially for the salespeople and even for the marketers, sometimes it's just about getting things done efficiently. Mm-hmm. And how many times have we wanted to send an email, or even internal communications? We wanted to send an email and we couldn't quite hit that submit button because we needed to agonize over every blasted word that we wrote and made sure that the grammar and style was 100% right. And, God forbid we have, transposed a letter or two in that email. Video to me has this double whammy of these kind of stats that you've talked about, but also, frankly, it's just faster and easier. You click a couple buttons with a Vidyard extension, and 2 minutes later, you have something that it would have taken you 20 minutes to write in text in the same way. And even if you trip over a word or two, frankly, people are a hell of a lot more forgiving about video than they are, say, the written word or something of that nature. Absolutely.
I've probably spent countless minutes staring at my screen wondering if I should hit send on emails. It's funny, I'll make a quick video, quick video for like 30 seconds, sending it out, prospecting back when I was in business development. I remember in the background, there'll be my coworkers laughing and yelling or throwing something at me, and I'm like, send, no problem. And it's just because of that authenticity. So yeah, I totally understand. And just tapping into, even just streaming and understanding what the internet traffic looks like. 80% of the world will be video by 2020. We've actually surpassed that. So it's actually above 80% right now, and we're sitting at 2020. So you look at someone like Mark Zuckerberg, obviously a trendsetter in this world, and he had mentioned that video is a mega trend, and that in a decade, video will look as big as a shift in the way we share and communicate as mobile has been. You know how crazy that's a big statement. And that was back in 2017. So, fast forward a few years and he was completely correct.